The Praxic Blade is Destiny 2's single most customizable exotic ever. There are multiple catalysts, power cores, blade focuses, blade forms, and of course 12 different color customization options to make your Praxic Blade uniquely your own. And with the recent release of the Equilibrium dungeon, there are no longer any time-gated crystal colors. So today I wanted to create a guide that shows you where to find every single Praxic Blade crystal color all in one place that you can always come back to. And if you end up finding today's guide helpful, then your like and subscription would be very much appreciated. But without further ado, let's begin. Starting off with the red crystal, this one is going to be earnable through invasions. And after you complete an invasion, the red crystal has a chance to drop from the end of activity chest. And actually, despite the crystals being exotic items, they will actually drop in-game as legendary engrams, so just something to keep note of. The red crystal has been notoriously rare for many among the community, and it could take you many invasions to get. For me, it took about 30 runs, but I know it took some of my friends upwards of 60, so definitely be prepared to grind. Furthermore, it is also possible to get the crystal from a failed invasion, and as far as I know, wagering more death marks doesn't increase your chances of getting it. So definitely wager only one at a time if you're specifically chasing the crystal. And by the way, each week Spider sells a package of 5 death marks you can buy, and outside of that, if you want to earn more, you'll want to play the contested territory playlist within the Lawless Frontier. Good luck. For the orange crystal, this one is earnable through Lawless Frontier jobs on Mars, and basically what that means is every time you finish a Mars job, there is a small chance for the crystal to drop from the end chest. And as far as I know, there is no way of increasing the chance. Just play Mars jobs a lot and you'll eventually get it. The green crystal has a 50% chance to be earned from your first run through of the Fire and Ice exotic mission during the Renegades campaign, and if you don't get green, you'll get blue instead. It's either one or the other, but for the sake of the guide, let's assume you got green. So, assuming you got green from Fire and Ice, how do you then get blue? Or if you got blue, how do you then get green? As soon as you finish the campaign, Anor will give you the Praxic's Path exotic quest, and she'll task you with doing various objectives with your Praxic Blade, such as getting kills with the melee, block, and throw attacks, as well as getting you to rerun the Fire and Ice mission. It's a pretty easy quest and doesn't take too long to complete, and once you do, talking to Anor will award you with the missing crystal you could have got from the original Fire and Ice mission. Next up is Cyan, and this one is a little tricky to get and has multiple layers of RNG attached to it. For starters, the description states that it's acquired through high-level contracts, which is a pretty vague description, so here's what that actually means. Contracts are extra side objectives you can complete while doing jobs out on the Lawless Frontier, and you probably already knew that, but what you may not know is that there are different rarities of contracts, including common, legendary, and exotic, and it's specifically exotic contracts that have a chance to award the Cyan crystal. So how do you get them? For starters, to even earn these contracts in the first place, you must reach rank 3 with any of the 3 criminal syndicates and make sure you're allied to them. Then, every time you complete a contract that isn't your daily priority or invasion contract, the new contract that repopulates that slot has a small chance to be either a legendary or exotic one. And you can tell if you got one because both legendary and exotic contracts physically show up as looted items at the end of an activity, whereas common ones don't. So in order to maximize your chances of getting an exotic contract to drop, you have to try and be as efficient as possible with hitting your contracts. And by that I mean trying to complete 2 or even all 3 of them in a single job. Take this example here where my first one wants me to exfil from Tharsis Reformation territory, the second wants me to exfil from bounty hunt or sabotage jobs, and the third wants me to exfil from jobs on Europa or Venus. And during the time I recorded this, there just so happened to be a bounty hunt job available on Venus that was also controlled by the Tharsis Reformation, meaning that if I completed that job, I'll finish all 3 of my contracts at once, giving me 3 chances for an exotic contract to repopulate my list. This is what you must do in order to maximize your chances of getting one. However, there will be times where you simply can't hit all 3 of your contracts at once, but that's okay. Just keep trying to be as efficient as possible and you'll eventually be given an exotic one. As of the 16th of December, patch 9.5.0.3 actually fixed an issue that was causing the drop rate of the Cyan crystal from the exotic contracts to be lower than intended. And speaking anecdotally, before the patch I completed 6 exotic contracts and didn't get the crystal, then the second one I did after the patch ended up giving it to me. So if I had to guess, it's probably not that rare anymore, which is nice. Next up is Indigo, and this one has a rare chance of dropping from Lawless Frontier jobs on Europa. And again, much like the orange crystal, it will drop as a legendary engram from the end of activity chest. So cross your fingers and pray to the RNG gods. Similarly, the Magenta crystal, which is absolutely gorgeous by the way, definitely one of my favorites, comes from the Lawless Frontier jobs on Venus. Again, having a pretty small drop chance from the end of activity chest. Next is one of the more sought after ones, and that is the Taken crystal / Darksaber variant. And this one's description again is a little vague, so here's how you get it. The Taken crystal has a low chance of dropping from full clears of the Equilibrium dungeon, and at time of writing, it doesn't seem like increasing the difficulty of the dungeon has any effect on the drop chance, so you can just play it on normal mode over and over for the fastest farming. What the description doesn't tell you is that each encounter is independently tracked, meaning you don't necessarily have to complete the dungeon in order of first to last encounter. In fact, the way I got mine was by first completing the final boss without having done the previous 2 encounters. Then, when I ran back the dungeon on that same character, I got the crystal to drop from the second encounter, because at that point, in the eyes of the tracker, I had indeed completed a full run, inverted commas, just not in the standard order. But for the most part, if you're exclusively doing full runs, then you'll most likely get yours to drop from the final boss. And it does appear that the drop rate is pretty low, so good luck out there. The Taken crystal also has a unique effect that no other one does, and that is that the ignition sound creates a hushed Taken whisper every time you equip it, and stowing it also makes another whispering noise too. Moving on to the yellow crystal, similar to Cyan, this one is earned through exotic orders, specifically the Praxic Professional Order, and in order to get an exotic order to appear in your orders, completing legendary orders has a small chance for an exotic one to repopulate it. In this example here, I was given a legendary order to get scout rifle precision kills, and when I completed it, I was actually given the Praxic Professional Exotic Order, which, mind you, was me getting lucky because that's the one you need. However, you may not be given the correct exotic order, but if not, then don't worry, you can simply re-roll the one you got with Glimmer until you see Praxic Professional show up. As for how to complete the order itself, it states that you need to get kills in Pinnacle Ops activities on expert difficulty or higher without dying with the Praxic Blade. And also, you get infinite ammo too while the order is active, which is nice, and it is around 400 to 500 kills, though I have heard this has been reduced in the recent patch. But regardless, the best way to complete this order nice and fast is to boot up the Whisper mission, run all the way to the green room, and drop down into the Thrall Pit and just sit there and farm kills until the order is complete. And cashing in your rewards will award you with the yellow dark matter crystal as well as a bunch of other exotic goodies. Finally, the last 3 crystals, which are white, gradient, and purple, are unfortunately exclusive to the Eververse store, with each one costing 1,000 silver to obtain or $10. However, you do also get a custom hilt attachment alongside each one, which is pretty nice. White gets you a Taken King themed hilt, gradient gives you a Deepstone Crypt / Braytech handle, and purple is themed around the Dreaming City / Awoken. For the last section of the video, I wanted to give you some advice with regards to efficiently farming specific crystals if you're planning to collect them all. And the most important piece of advice I can give is to prioritize the Cyan crystal over all of the others, because the process of obtaining an exotic contract will inevitably take you across all 3 planets within the Lawless Frontier, meaning you'll be passively rolling the dice on the orange, indigo, and magenta crystals. Plus, simply playing the game like this will also see you earning an exotic order eventually, which then crosses off the yellow crystal, and after you've managed to earn Cyan, chances are you've got a couple of the planet-specific ones already, and at that point, yes, you can then switch to farming specific planetary ones if you're still missing them. Then once they are done, go for the red through invasions, and then once that's done, go for the Taken one via the dungeon. But that's just my advice. If you want to go straight for the Taken or red ones, then please be my guest. But the bottom line is that through just playing Renegades and hitting your quests and contracts, you're bound to collect a bunch of these crystals naturally over time without even realizing. So that has been your guide on how to earn all 12 Praxic Blade crystal colors. If you found the guide helpful, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also comment down below what your favorite lightsaber color is. I genuinely think the crystal grind has been one of the best cosmetic chases Bungie have implemented in years, and I really hope to see something on this level in every expansion going forward. It's crazy how just getting some pretty colors can be so motivating to play the game. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, dear viewer.